Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome into your daily read for Sunday, May 14th, 2023. I, of course, as always, want to thank you so much for joining me for this reading, and I hope you're doing amazing. But let's jump into it and pull from the wisdom of the Oracle deck to begin, and then pull some tarot. So let's do an initial shuffle. Feeling a little bit of a struggle come to be as far as speaking goes, but to begin for Sunday. We have Thinker and Go the Distance. I do feel as if this is a Sunday where you might be getting a lot done. It might be a more peaceful, simplistic, healing kind of Sunday for you. It's going to differ from case to case. They're saying for me specifically, it's going to be a mix of both. So it might as well be that for you. But I do feel like it's a day either way, regardless of what you're choosing to accomplish or not accomplish. You're going to be thinking, right, about how far you're meant to go in this lifetime along your path, what you're meant to accomplish, what you've accomplished up until this point. You're not going to be able to simplify your mind if you don't put effort towards it, is what I'm getting. Because I feel like, yes, there's some important reminders potentially from spirit through your mind. There may be important thoughts, maybe something to solidify in your mind or to come up with, right? Again, to remember or to desire even. Some of which drawn to the reading, like myself, need to remember why you desire something and why you did once upon a time desire what you have at hand. Remembering that you did, at least to an extent, want what you have, whether that's a person, place, a situation, opportunity, investment. And so that will keep things in perspective until things change for the better or adjust in your favor, however that looks for you. But again, things like meditation or just quiet time, right? Maybe taking a nap. There needs to be a simplifying of your mind, because this thinking can just as easily, as much as it can be helpful, it can definitely lead to overthinking and mental chaos, if you will, or just on the border of that. So just try to simplify things and don't overcomplicate how you're thinking about something. But I do feel like with your intuition being strengthened at this point along your path, with your spiritual guidance, potentially advice or facts coming through, that could even be spiritually guided, even if you don't realize that. It could be somebody reaching out to you, or you could be thinking about a past leg up in one way, shape, or form that's helping you now or will shortly enough or soon down the line. But I feel like this is a day where you're thinking about the bigger picture and how much better off things will be once something changes or once you achieve something, if not acquire a lot of success in general for yourself. But there's a lot of question marks rolling around in your mind. Why is that? Interesting how I just worded that. But I do feel as if you're wondering, why didn't this work out? Or why am I where I'm at this current time? Why is this being delayed? Why can't I see something come to be sooner? And Spirit saying, not all of these whys, these answers, these questions are going to be figured out or filled in, answered for you by the end of this Sunday. But there's a reasoning why you're questioning things as well throughout this day. Not just the past and the future and the present day situation, but things you observe. You're feeling very curious, a very pondering sort of vibe. You might find that you want to pull cards or pull oracle cards or both, or watch multiple tarot readings, if not one in particular, to take in more info, to get more clarity, feeling drawn to either way. It could be more in regards to you feeling drawn to read an article, look it up, stumbling upon it, reading a book, watching a documentary. It feels like a day where through the thinking, the questioning, the some clarity and answers, not a whole bunch coming through, quite obviously, you're being pushed to absorb knowledge. Did I word that correctly? But anyways, I just feel like you are going to see things a little bit more clearly by the end of this Sunday. Let's move on to the tarot. I'm going to pull from this deck. I do feel like there could be a vibe about this day, whether it's where you're living, where you're working, who you're energetically connected to, could be who you're associated with physically in person, whether it's a simple conversation, or it could be, you're deciding to hang out with this person or spend part of your day with them. I do feel as if there's a little bit of a nervous vibe coming from outside factors, but it feels like for a lot it's a person or people or how something's run. But I do feel like all the meanwhile, there are other little factors, say noise, other levels of energy, spirituality, little sudden occurrences that could make you feel a little bit on edge or just a little bit nervous in that moment, but it feels very fleeting. But I do sense that this is reminding you how sensitive of a soul you truly are to this and that. You label it, fill in the blank for yourself. Coming out from the tarot deck, the Strength card and the Justice card, interesting, is actually the King of Swords. So I'm naturally going to say that throughout this day, you're going to need to regain your strength in certain ways, whether it's from what you're accomplishing throughout this Sunday and or, rewinding back before this Sunday. But I do feel like it reminds you of how strong you truly are, even though you don't feel that 24/7, because that's just reality, keeping it realistic. But I do feel like saying the Justice card, even though it was the King of Swords, I do feel like there's justice to be acquired throughout this day from you being knowledgeable, wise, a bit of an old soul for some, one who has the wisdom of spirit and at the very least your intuition all the meanwhile. That knowing within is going to take a focus. It's like I can just sense when somebody, me personally is what I'm saying, I can just sense when somebody is not is a bad person deep down, right? Even in seconds, the first few seconds or minutes of meeting them, or being in their presence or feeling their energy. And, same goes for, if they're a really good person or just a mix of both, or do you know what I'm saying? And I feel as if this is also tying into your ability to pick up on people's intentions, the reality of what they're actually doing and why they're doing it, at least to an extent, and that just might strengthen over time. If we're being completely honest, of course, it's going to differ from case to case, but I do feel like you have this intuitive vibe about you, this sense, ability to pick up on things, however that looks for you and comes into play throughout this Sunday, where you're going to need to put that to use in a larger sense and on different smaller occurrences when picking and choosing is what I'm hearing down the line. All right. And this is going to be very efficient for you. And for some, it's going to be very key for a big change, switch up in your life. But I do sense that this is going to come into play and potentially has already, and I know it has for me, in order to pick and choose who and what to associate yourself with in this lifetime, right? Not just absolutely friends, who to date, right? Who to continue to keep in your life and take on. But when it comes to, say, you're working a day-to-day job, who do I associate myself with? I feel that this is not going to be productive, and you're obviously going to leave me in a sticky situation, or just potentially or you just are, I'm hearing troublemaker, or a negative Nancy, or just toxic, then I'm not going to associate myself with you to the best of my ability. Not always black and white, but you get the point. That's just one example. But I do feel like that's Spirit's way of saying the knowledge that you have and are gaining at this time and moving forward because of your intuition and being able to feel things out and be honest with yourself and potentially other people all the meanwhile. That's powerful. All right, that is powerful. You are representing a combination of the Strength card and the King of Swords throughout the Sunday in Spirit's eyes. The Seven of Cups in reverse. I do feel like this is talking about how you feel for whatever reason you don't have a lot of options for something. Whether you already exhausted most of or all of those options, it might feel as if you don't have the ability to pick and choose from certain options because you don't have the means yet, or it's not the right time, or both. You might feel as if it might just be that you're very picky in regards to who to date or what option to take on, but it's a day where you need to recognize that when this is meant to be in the upright, it will be. As I had to take a quick second due to a slight disturbance in my external reality, I did get the message from dusk till dawn, you will succeed regardless of however that looks for you. All right. So I hope this was truly helpful. I'm sending you so much love and light. Go enjoy your Sunday, and I'll definitely see you next time.